I had something shocking happen about a week ago. I walked into Walmart, wasn't expecting to find anything, and I found new Star Wars toys that I was excited about. Isn't that wild? I found new Star Wars toys in a Walmart I was excited about. It has been a long time since I've been able to say that. Now, granted, the ones I was excited about are just, the 30 millionth Vader and Han Solo, but I think these are Hasbro's best 3 3/4 inch versions of the characters. They are superb. Absolutely superb. The Vader somehow tops the Dark Times one. Somehow manages it. And the Han Solo, while not perfect, is definitely the best Han Solo we have gotten from Hasbro in 3 3/4 inch. Not the best, could be better. There's still a few extra things they could do to make that Han Solo perfect. Kind of like the Vader. The Vader's pretty much perfect. But still, it was so great to walk into a Walmart. Because I didn't have these on pre-order. I don't pre-order stuff like that anymore. I'm just like, hey, I'll see it when I see it in stores. But I was actually about to order these online. I'm like, yeah, I might just order them. I'm kind of excited for that Vader. I might just order it. But finding it in stores, man, that was even more exciting. So let's just get into it. So let's talk about Han Solo first. Because I feel like there's a little less to talk about with him. So his card back, very nice iconic image of Han from Return of the Jedi. You can see both of these are from the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. Yeah, I really love Han's portrayal in Return of the Jedi. He's finally embraced his identity of being a rebel hero. He's, not really running from his crime past anymore now that he's defeated it. It's great. Other figures from the wave, I did not see the Tusken Warrior or Clone Captain Hauser. Hauser, I technically already have. They just re-released it because they changed the name from the multi-pack, and they wanted to have one out there with an accurate card. I might buy it, probably not. I already have it. But the Tusken Warrior I am passing on because I'm getting the deluxe version with the massive. I really want that Tusken Warrior, but I don't need that single-carded one. I got the only 2 figures from the wave I really wanted, so that's actually pretty great. Let's take a look at this Han Solo. So right off the bat, I think they've finally gotten a pretty good likeness of Harrison Ford. Hasbro has struggled for years, and they still struggle with Harrison Ford's likeness. Something about Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill they cannot nail. Carrie Fisher, they do a little bit better of a job on her, but something about Mark and Harrison, they can't figure it out. But I think this Harrison is probably the best we've seen. I do feel like he looks a little too young. Like, from certain angles, he does look a little baby-faced, maybe a little chubby-cheeked, but still, it's much better than what we have had in the past. Here's my old Endor Han with the trench coat and everything. I wouldn't have minded if this figure came with the trench coat, but, almost every Endor Han comes with it. I'm kind of happy they just released one that doesn't have it. You can see this old body, this entire figure right here shares nothing with this. This guy, I'm pretty sure, is brand new. From pretty much, the arms are new, the head's new, a lot of the torso's new, but the legs are reused from another Han Solo I'll discuss. But yeah, it's nice to have a new one. You can see that looks nothing like Harrison Ford. Nothing at all. This one still has a purpose in my collection. He can be the Endor coat one, and this is the one without the Endor coat. I am curious, though. I do want to see how the new one looks with the coat. Hopefully I can do this quickly and swiftly without it being irritating, because sometimes it can be very irritating trying to do stuff like this. So how does the new one look with the coat? Because one of my favorite looks for Han Solo, my favorite look is obviously just classic A New Hope, because that's my favorite original Star Wars movie, and it's the most iconic look for him for me. I love his Bespin fatigues, with the blue and all that, but I also love him with the trench coat. And seeing the new figure with the trench coat, oh man, that looks cool. Oh, that works. That is nice. It works. I'm kind of tempted to maybe not just have my only one with the trench coat, but maybe just buy another one and just give him this trench coat, because that looks really, really nice. I'm happy I thought to do that, because otherwise I wouldn't have. So let's get that off again. It is a little difficult, but we can get there. It's like undressing my dolly. Wow. Just undressed him. Got some green fibers on my desk, but it's okay. So yeah, you can see they are very, very different. These Han Solos are very different. This one's still good. Like, it still has a lot of articulation, but it's just got swivels at the hips, kind of like an older style. You know, it's an older figure, you know, but it checks out. It's Han Solo, but this one right here is where it's at. Love his blaster. He's got a lot of nice paint on his, I think it's a DL44, right? Isn't that a DL44? It's got paint on the handle, paint on the nozzle, I guess. On the barrel. Yeah, it's nice. It's not perfect, though. My main issue with it, from the waist up, it's pretty much perfect. They've done a great job. But he still has the old style hips. Now, I'm not talking the old style as in, like, you know, the T-cut, a little newer than that. But it's kind of like that Y-cut ball hinge from that old TVC Bespin Han. And you can see these ones are so hard to work with. Look at how tight that hinge is. The thigh is flexing before it wants to rotate. And it's just such a pain to get this working. You can get it working in your favor, but this is one of those old ones you have to work against. It doesn't work with you, it works against you. And it's irritating. I really wish they would have just taken the extra little effort to just make them all new. Because on top of that, he still has the old style hinge and swivel at the foot instead of a rocker. So man, this Han is so close to being perfect. So close. But it's just a little short, The rest of his articulation, you can see he does have a good knee bend. He's got a thigh swivel. He does have a pretty nice ball joint at the torso, which I appreciate. I'm pretty sure he's all new from like the waist up. I'm pretty sure. Because a lot of this other articulation, like the elbow, the shoulder, it's very nice. He does have hinges at the wrist now, which indicates to me that this is newer. He does have an up and down, thankfully, for this wrist. So you can get him in some really nice classic Han Solo poses. And he holds that pistol really nice. He's got to get the finger trigger in there. That's English. Yeah, he just looks great. He's got a dumbbell at the head. Moves really good. And again, that head just looks so nice. It's not perfect. But I think it's definitely the best Harrison we've seen at this scale. So yeah, this Han Solo is a total win for me. Really love it. But Vader is the main attraction here. This was the one I was really excited to find. I'm always a sucker for a new Darth Vader figure, and this one somehow manages to innovate the best Vader figure even more somehow. So yeah, you can see Death Star 2 Vader. You got the nice likeness of Sebastian Shaw right there on the card. Looks great. He doesn't have eyebrows, which makes sense narratively. Like, if all of his hair is burnt off, it makes sense that his eyebrows are too. But still, it's, you know, if you're an original purist, I understand why it's a little frustrating, but it makes sense. It makes sense narratively. Maybe it's something where George Lucas was like, hey, I want to shave your eyebrows, and Sebastian Shaw was like, no, that's too much. And he's like, okay. And now that he had the chance, he's like, let's fix that. You know, maybe it's something George Lucas really wanted to fix. So George Lucas, he's the guy that made all this. And some of his fixes I totally understand. Others, come on, little too much. But nice card, very nice card, and very, very nice figure. So this is the first time we have seen a removable helmet Darth Vader in the 3 3/4 inch scale for a long time. And you can see, you almost wouldn't guess that he's got a removable helmet just looking at him right now, because he looks so good. That helmet, they finally nailed the helmet. About 40 years. Come on, can we not focus in on Han's face, please? That's just petty. It took Hasbro nearly 40 years to nail Darth Vader's helmet, but they finally did it. And this guy and the Dark Times Vader are the best Vader figures Hasbro has ever made, including Black Series. I think these ones are absolutely superb. And let's actually bring in that Dark Times one so we can do a little bit of a comparison going on. So you can see the new one does have a slightly larger helmet to accommodate the removable helmet. And in my opinion, I think it works. I think it works great. I actually kind of like the larger helmet. I think it just fits a little bit better. Both the helmets have really nice, you know, gunmetal highlights. Just looks really gorgeous. Both the helmets look superb. The control boxes on the torsos are slightly different paint-wise to differentiate them from movies and TV shows and what have you. The gauntlets, I believe, are different. This one has a gauntlet gimmick, the new one. So they kind of had to remold the arms a little bit. So he's got new gauntlets, at least. He doesn't have like all that ribbing and everything from the Dark Times one. Other than that, I think it's pretty much the same. think it's pretty much the same. There might be other little slight subtle differences. They have like the same style of cape, which I think the cape works really great, especially at the scale. It's not perfect, but it works pretty great. You can see the helmets have a glorious sheen. They look superb. I love them. And I'm really surprised how nice this helmet looks, given that it is removable. Especially when we bring in what we had before. So this is the original Vintage Collection Darth Vader. This is Wave 1 TVC Darth Vader. And look at that helmet. That is just... ugh. Man, like I said, Hasbro took a long time to actually nail Vader's helmet. A long time. Way too long of a time. The old one, I always saw it as like having really big teeth. Something about it. It looks like it has these really big, exaggerated, like almost like a Zurg mouth. A Zurg from Toy Story. It's just... it looks like a giant, like, grill. You know, like a truck grill on his face. It looked so enormous. And the little bulbs, the two bulbs kind of by his chin, they're not highlighted on the old one at all. The proportions are just way off. It just doesn't look any good with the helmet. The old body, too, it's not bad. It's not a bad body. I actually do like how the old one had the cloth going through the torso. That is actually something I kind of miss with the newer ones. But you can see, number one, the helmet doesn't stay on too well. But number two, you know, this old body, it's got good articulation, but it just has the swivels at the hips. You know, just has a little, you know, traditional knee. And it's very traditional. It's a very traditional Vintage Collection figure from the time. And honestly, I think the best purpose for this old one has always been for me to have the helmet removed, because even though the eyes are kind of oddly painted, I think the likeness to Sebastian Shaw is really there. I think this is the best look for this old Vader. Like, just kind of comparing it back there a little bit. The paint's not great, but that is a very nice likeness to Sebastian Shaw. This chain thing in the front too is pretty odd. I'm happy they just don't put that on at all anymore. It just looked silly. But yeah, let's leave that helmet off, because let us remove the helmet of the new one. And the new one, man, oh yeah. So first we have to remove this section, and putting this back on is a bit of a comparison again. You can see both of them have some nice paint on the top section. I feel like the old one has some more color because it has like a silver dry brush on the top, and the new one doesn't. Flipping them around too, we can see the back profile, kind of from what we saw in Empire. I actually think the old one with the big scar on the back of the head looks pretty nice. But still, you know, they look good. They look good. And then let's remove the mask, and then the mask. And the new one looks great. I think the likeness to Sebastian Shaw is a little lacking. It almost looks a little bit more like a mixture between Hayden and Sebastian. But you see that and you know that is Darth Vader. I think the skin could have been a little more gray. It is still kind of a light flesh tone, because he was very gray in Return of the Jedi. You can see the picture right behind him, right in the middle, dead in the center. That is the color. I think the color kind of matches better with the original, but this new one, another great thing too, it's very independent, so you can actually have it raised out separately. You can have it tilted down more. You can get a lot more expression out of this helmet, or out of this head in the helmet. And I really appreciate that. That just looks really great. It works really well. I just think they did a great job with it. Definitely, if you want a removable helmet Darth Vader, just grab the Death Star 2 one. Grab this new one, because it's so great. Alright, so putting that mask back on, and I think that's that one's helmet. Oh, no, it's not. I mixed them up. Yeah, because you can tell the fits on him. So, finishing up with this Vader, it's the same Dark Times Vader, so the articulation is insane. If you want a more detailed look at that, just, you know, watch my Dark Times Vader review. But yeah, this guy poses like a dream. It's absolutely incredible. It's so superb. Definitely Hasbro's best Darth Vader. I love the big flowing cape. I love all the motion. He's got ball joints at the hips. He's got rocker ankles. It's so great. And then getting him with that helmet back on too. The helmet does stay together very nice. So like if you're rotating the head, I would definitely kind of rotate it from the front, kind of like with how I'm doing with my thumb. You just do it from the top of the helmet, you might start seeing a little bit of wiggle. He does have a few accessories. Obviously, his lightsaber. You know, it's Vader's lightsaber. Nothing too special there, but it's nice he has it, obviously. It's something he kind of needs. He does have a hilt, which I appreciate the inclusion of. because he didn't always have his lightsaber ignited in Return of the Jedi, so it's a nice inclusion to just have that mounted on his side. And we can just plug that in. It's a little finicky because it's a little tiny figure, but I think it goes in there. I actually haven't tried this yet on this one. I have not tried this yet, but I think it goes in. I think it does. Not too easily. It's not going in too easy. Oh, man. Because it's doing one of those things where, like, you try to force it and it's just flopping over. Oh, man. I'm going to say that's difficult. You might want to heat that up or something. Heat up the figure and then try. But, yeah, I know it goes in. I know it does, but it's just fighting me right now. And his last accessory is perhaps one of the most important for a Death Star 2 Vader. Because he didn't have his helmet removed and still have his hand. So you can unplug his hand. And I do believe the hands are interchangeable with the Dark Times ones, so if you want to do that, feel free. And you can replace it with this gauntlet that does not have his hand anymore. It's cut out. You can see there's some nice detail in there. Some nice silver, a few colors poking through. So yeah, now you can fully replicate his appearance, his final moments, the final moments of the most iconic Star Wars character ever. That is something else, man. That is something else. I do kind of wish, you can see on the card, his control box was all out of shape and it was wonky. I do kind of wish you could like move that somehow. But yeah, this thing's gorgeous. Definitely my favorite Darth Vader action figure from Hasbro. I would say my favorite Vader in my collection, but I have the Hot Toys and New Hope ones, so I can't really say that. My second favorite, how about that? It's my second favorite. Alright guys, there we go. There's my review of Darth Vader and Han Solo. These figures are great. Han Solo's not perfect. He's reusing some parts that are a little too old for my liking, but it is still nice to have a new Return of the Jedi style Han. We desperately need new iterations of the A New Hope heroes, but hopefully we will get there at some point soon. And Vader, Hasbro's best Vader by far. Superb job. Love it, love it, love it. Grab it. Buy 2 of them. Buy 3 of them. Just buy as many Vaders as you feel like you might need for different displays, different whatever. Me personally, if I see this Vader again in stores, I might have to grab it. I said the same thing with the Dark Times one, and I never got the chance to, and I'm kind of happy I didn't, because now there's this one that I think is much better. I love them both, but something about this one, man. Just the removable helmet, I feel like is just the full experience for a proper Vader action figure is having that removable helmet. Alrighty guys, there we go. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Special shout out to channel members, as always. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Alrighty, have a great one guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.